EJ here at the Back Porch Antiques, and we are highlighting Mid-Century Modern tonight. And one of my favorite Mid-Century Modern vendors here at the Back Porch Antiques is booth J300. Born Again Antiques is the name of their business, and they are in-house with us here at the Back Porch Antiques. I'd like to highlight a little bit about our selection of Mid-Century Modern, at least in this booth. We have Mid-Century Modern around through the rest of our store as well, but they are probably more of our more focused vendors in that area. So a little bit about MCM. Mid-Century Modern is a design style that is highlighted on things you would have found in the home and around the home from the years late 1940s through early 1970s. Kind of that, 1950s doo-wop style. You think about Leave It to Beaver and Bewitched and things like that. You would see a lot of that styling in there. You'll feel a lot of like atomic vibes because there was that space race type mentality that was happening then, when everybody was in a race to get to the moon and the Russians sent a monkey or whatever, and then we were the first people there. But anyway, there's that sort of vibe. But I want to show you a little bit about this particular booth, and we will also kind of give you a little bit of background about some of the things that are selling really well in our store, at least, in the Mid-Century Modern feel. So before we go around the back, these are TV trays. TV trays. And that was a hopping thing in the 1950s and early 1960s, because that's when people actually started watching TV while eating their food instead of eating at the table. In the 40s, only a little bit of TV was around, mostly, more like the 1950s. But by the 1960s, television was on when you got home from work. When the kids got home from school, and they could sit there and watch the television while they ate snacks or while they ate their dinner meal. So TV trays are a big part of Mid-Century Modern. You'll also see this type of floral design in Mid-Century Modern. Greens, pinks, pale yellows, things like that. Lots of floral designs. You get into the later part of the Mid-Century Modern, you'll find a lot of browns. Dark browns with like cabin scenes and things like that. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and without even seeing it, you can probably smell it. But that's the sort of things that we're talking about when we're talking about Mid-Century Modern furniture. Also designs such as these, which are kind of a Renaissance type piece, but you would have found them in that Mid-Century Modern era. This is a good example of a lamp from Mid-Century Modern, that era. You got that green type, gaudy type, gold, and you will see a lot of that in those who decorate their Mid-Century Modern homes. Here's an example of kind of the atomic type theme. If you'll notice, that kind of looks like the Apollo spaceship, that I guess the capsule that would have splashed down. It is a coffee/tea pitcher, and it's got that atomic vibe and atomic feel to it. You can't mention Mid-Century Modern without talking about Pyrex and dishware and things like that from the era. And this booth has a pretty good example. We don't have a lot of Pyrex in the store because we sell it so quickly. So that's a bolo. Be on the lookout for Pyrex bowls, especially your pinks, your blues, and things like this. This is a pretty cool piece set right here. Just a little bit of a side note so that you'll know, if you see a bowl like this, with a bowl attached to it, you'll see it, that design here and that design up there. Those are called chip and dip sets. Chip and dip sets. You put your chips in here and your dip up there, and you can do the both. They usually come with a little hanger on the side. You also have drink sets from the same era, but you'll notice here the purples, and you have that kind of atomic look to it. There is a brand of this. Blendo, of course, is the brand for that. Here's some more Pyrex dishes. You've got, again, the gilded example, and some reds and pinks, and some like Saturn rings on that particular pattern there. Here's another chip dip set, and they're really good. So also there's a theme that was toward the late 1960s, early 1970s about certain critters, and owls were one of them. Owls are still very collectible today, but you will see a lot of Chalkware owls that represent the Mid-Century Modern feel. Here's a clock with that Mid-Century Modern feel. You've got owls, you've got mushrooms and frogs, almost like that Alice in Wonderland type motif, if you will. But there's more to it than that. There are the owls, because they're cool, But also there is I guess, a symbolism in the owls as well. During that post-World War II era, there was almost a sub-enlightenment of willingness to pursue things that meant something. You'll also notice a lot of eagles, and that was a symbolism for freedom. But owls was symbolism for wisdom. And you saw that in those 1950s, 1960s homes because it meant something. Here's another example of an owl clock. I could see that hanging in my grandmother's kitchen right now. I can see that hanging in a kitchen somewhere that's just covered in bacon grease because it was over the stove and she fried bacon every morning. There's the possibility that that could have been used. Also, FisherPrice toys came along during that era, and still kind of got that same color theme. We have a lot of FisherPrice toys here at the Back Porch Antiques. You see a lot of that in a strong collector market. Flowers in canister kits, 45 records, also illustrative of that mid-century feel. And here's a pretty cool old toy. Doll houses and toy kitchens and things like that were look just like Mom's. As a matter of fact, I saw a Sears catalog the other day that sold exact copies of full-size refrigerator and oven sets that would match Mom's. So the little girl or the little boy or whomever got a matching set of kitchen appliances like Mom's. One last thing that I think highlights an illustration of the mid-century feel is chalkware. And you see a lot of this in those homes. And here's an example. This is a parrot, but you would also see a lot of these pinks and blues. That's a sad, droopy eye little dog right there. And then up there you've got a pink and white ribbon with a white glaze. I guess maybe that's either a swan or like the flamingo type thing. Pigs and things like that, all in that chalkware type mentality. There's a big collectorship for that if it's in good shape. Some of those pieces can fetch upward of $1,000 in just, kind of like this size. So that's definitely also something you should keep your eye out concerning mid-century modern pieces. If you're a mid-century modern collector, I'd suggest if you get the chance to like us on Facebook. Also check out our our YouTube page, subscribe and like if you get the chance, and we'll be able to help you find some of the pieces you're looking for. As always, I appreciate your time, and we will catch you later.